For my research, I have used EBSCO, UNESCO, OCCC Films on Demand, USAID.gov, and a personal interview with OCCC student Maureen Kingethi. She's from Kenya. Today, I would like to talk to you about the lives of Kenyans and their basic social customs pertaining to the business world, since we will be going into Kenya with our business. My name is Caitlin Wallace, and I'm an OCCC student enrolled in Business Communications 2033. First off, I'd like to talk to you about Kenyan education. It is improving since its independence in the 1960s, but there's still need for improvement, and I think with our business, we could help the education. Experts argue that action-centered leadership is arguably now more important than ever. And these are the type of people that we want in our company working for us. In the article, The Challenges and Future of Public Higher Education Leadership in Kenya, written by George Odhiambo, one can see that student enrollment in Kenyan universities has increased from 82,100 students in 2003 to 271,143 students in 2012. I wanted to experience another culture, which is why I did not attend a Kenyan university, which is what Maureen Kingethi was trying to explain to me in our interview. Family situations can ultimately affect whether a child continues their education in Kenya and takes on the role of providing for the family at such a young age. In a segment titled Family Tragedy of Part 3, Time for School, Hope and Despair, Fighting for an Education, which I found in OCCC Films on Demand, Nanavi is a young woman who had experienced a loss in the family in 2006. Her father had told her to go to school and not to rest. Ultimately, education is very important to Kenyans. There has been improvement in the need to repeat primary grades, as you can see in one of the examples in my PowerPoint. In 1999, 15 African countries had repetition rates in primary grades exceeding 20%, compared to only 6 countries in 2009, which I received from UNESCO. In Kenya, what the man says goes. They are the head of the household, especially in the Maasai tribe. For the Maasai tribe, the cattle is the highest gift you can give them. And Maureen was telling me about this in our interview. Most Kenyans still live in rural areas, and means of travel are public transportation or hopping on the back of a motorcycle for $1. 3/4 of Kenyans still live in rural areas. The traditional lifestyle in the countryside revolve around subsistence farming. One can see similarities in vast differences in means of travel, communication between the U.S. and Kenya. Maureen would tell you to keep left on the roads. She told me about how most of her life she had rode on the matatus, which can be very dangerous and packed and just crowded, but very cheap. But Maureen, she told me as she got older, she would actually pay $1 to go ahead and hop on the back of a motorcycle, which she said is very exhilarating and fun. Now, according to the Canadian government, travelers should be advised on the level of safety public transportation that the matatus lack. They say that they are generally poorly maintained, recklessly driven, and are often without adequate insurance. They would suggest that if we ever had any business interactions going on there, that we should only use the hotel taxis and confirm fare in advance. Knowing basic social customs is very important in general for Kenya and in the business world, really. Knowing social customs of Kenya will help gain respect for Kenyans. Eye contact is very important, as Kenyans are more willing to trust a person who will look them in the eye. If you are visiting Maureen's family's house in Kenya, she would tell her visitor to shake everyone in the hand and look them in the eyes. And make sure that you would take off your shoes before you enter the house, because you wouldn't want to dirty up the house. According to traveleretiquette.co.uk, to show respect to a superior, you may hold your right forearm with the left hand while shaking with your other hand. You should not point at someone. It is more important to show with like an open hand in the general direction you are pointing to. Try to avoid making prolonged eye contact. Yes, eye contact is important, but don't stare at someone until they can't take it anymore. That's considered very, very rude. So, through Maureen's interview, she had expressed in the business world how you should interact with Kenyans, different Kenyan tribes. Really keep that in mind, that they all kind of have a few different traditions. All in all, one must grasp a concept of the Kenyans' daily lives and social customs to integrate into the business world of Kenya. We would have to take in the consideration of how their lives work and what's important to them to hire them into our business and to be successful. Today, I have talked to you about the lives of Kenyans and their basic social customs pertaining to the business world. Finally, let's prepare to move into the business world of Kenya so our company will be successful.